Jai Hind and good morning everyone. Today I'm in conversation with Air Vice Marshal Aditya Vikram Pethia sir, Vir Chakra. And on this auspicious day, we're going to discuss with him about his life in Air Force and how he was brought up in a environment during those time and what was the society like. Second, his tenure with the Air Force, that love of flying a fighter jet, and sir, few things about the Air Force and how it's been evolving over time. Few more instances of his tenure of the war he saw in both 65 and 71 war, and a bit about the air operations. Sir, thank you sir for having this interview sir.
Well, to be very blunt, you can call me a villager.
Sir.
I was born in a very small village.
Sir.
Where I was brought up, and then later on I shifted to various places with my father.
Sir.
Did my schooling in college.
Sir.
And then I had applied for the Air Force, not knowing what the Air Force was.
Sir.
And I was called for an interview and exam in 1963, January in Dehradun.
Sir.
So I had gone for my interview and examination, then I got selected.
Sir.
And I was sent to Air Force Flying College for my basic training. And then from there I was moved to Hyderabad.
Sir.
For my jet training.
Yes sir.
It's a coincidence,
sir,
that I was a cadet in Jodhpur, I was a cadet in Hakimpet.
Sir.
And later on in my life, I commanded both the stations.
Sir.
I've been commander at Jodhpur, I've been a commander at Hakimpet.
Sir.
That's how it was my life,
Sir,
before I joined there.
Sir, what was the society like when you were growing up? And can you take us through the challenges that you faced during that time? And how was the experience of, firstly, initial about the SSB, the selection board, and then the Air Force Academy?
Well, to be very honest, I had no idea what the Army was, what the Air Force was, what the Navy was. I had applied and got selected and went out to be commissioned. And let me tell you one thing, when we get commissioned or we get enrolled as a man in Army, Navy or Air Force, हम लोग अपनी जिंदगी सरकार के पास गिरवी रख देते हैं. सरकार किस पार्टी की उससे हमें कोई मतलब नहीं है. और जिस दिन हम रिटायर होते हैं उस दिन सरकार से कहते हैं मेरी गिरवी वापस कर दीजिए. Well, I had a very interesting life in Air Force. I have flown many types of aircraft. But I really liked, I've flown MIGS and all also, but I have a liking for my old Mystères.
Sir.
The French
The French, sir.
I took part in war.
Sir.
And also I've flown Indian made HFs later on.
Sir.
I got about 800 hours.
HF Marut, sir.
Marut.
Sir.
A very nice aircraft, but unfortunately, it didn't develop the way we were expecting, hence it was taken off the Air Force.
Sir. Sir, so talking about the society, 50 years down the line, sir, how do you see society evolving, Indian society evolving, sir? Towards the good or the bad, sir?
See, good or bad depends on the individual,
sir,
how he thinks about it. Every coin has got two sides.
Yes, sir.
I believe every coin has got three sides.
Sir.
Sometimes it also stands vertical.
Sir.
But I do remember my younger days.
Sir.
We had a much better cohesive life. We knew everyone more or less who was living around us.
Sir.
Today, I see that even your next door neighbor doesn't know who you are.
Sir.
And let me also tell you one thing, very interesting it is. When you are in the Army, Navy or Air Force, you are no more Hindu or Muslim or Christian. So you are a Fauji.
Yes, sir.
And that life, even today,
Sir.
if there's something is goes wrong with me, I know I have to call up one of the Faujis, whether I know him or not.
So,
There will plenty of them will come
yes, sir.
to stand next to me, give me all the help, whether it's hospitalization or otherwise.
So, any sir interesting tale of your Air Force days, sir, as a cadet, sir? Sir, कि कोई punishment मिली हो या you had given a punishment as a senior, sir? Anything like?
No, when I was a cadet in Jodhpur, I done enough front roles.
Sir,
And when I took over the command of Jodhpur, actually I went to see that area where I used to do front roles.
sir,
But it's a good, tough life it was
Sir.
as a cadet, and I think I'm thankful to my instructors
sir.
who really made me tough,
Yes, sir.
so that I could face
Sir.
what I went through during the war.
Yes, sir. So nothing is tougher than war, sir.
Yeah,
And,
it's
sir,
tough life, but I'm thankful to my instructors.
there has been certain instances where people have quit because of the Ragda, sir, and sir,
Yeah, it happens.
I believe, sir, the more you sweat in peace, the lesser you bleed in war, sir.
There is no doubt on it. There is no doubt, because the more the training, the better the training, you suffer less during the war,
Sir,
because you cannot
plan for war.
plan out everything what is going to happen in the war.
Sir,
It can happen anything.
something is always lurking.
So you have to be prepared
Sir,
for any eventuality where the bad thing comes in.
yes, sir.
See, in my life I've seen 65 war, then I saw 71 war, then I seen Kargil,
Sir,
and I seen one more war when I was abroad.
sir,
I was posted somewhere.
sir.
Where the
So we'll come back. We'll come on that
other
also, sir.
countries have come
Sir.
to war. There's another.
Sir. What was the first experience when you went for the first ride, sir? And as a pilot, sir. And how did you feel after you landed, sir? Euphoric experience or, sir?
You know, when the first time I went alone, so-called solo.
Sir. I think it would have been vampires or Tufani, sir.
No, I went through solo first time in HT2, then I went through in Howards, then Vampires, then Tufanis.
Sir.
But that first flying alone,
Sir.
to be honest, it gives you a freedom that you are a free man.
Sir.
But you get also confused that you are all alone by yourself now. There's nobody to help you.
Sir. So what, sir, and how do you deal with it, sir? That fear of first flight, sir, did it get into your head?
No. Anybody who says that he is not afraid or he is not scared,
Sir,
no, he is saying wrong.
sir,
Everybody gets scared. But what happens actually, when you are flying,
sir,
you have to concentrate so much on a flying that you don't have a time
sir,
to think what is going to.
you don't have the time to think about your fears.
Don't have time actually to
Sir.
think. And I'll give you examples.
Sir,
See, when you sometimes, if you're not well, they give you injection.
sir,
You try and understand that. When you see the syringe, the doctor in hand, and then you start looking at and you start getting worried. The moment he puts needle, you start sweating also.
sir,
Because now you know, because you have time to think
sir,
what is going to happen.
what is going to happen, sir?
But you look at them differently. If you're shaving
Sir,
and you get cut,
sir,
you
You
are
don't
not
think
scared
so?
to shave, but
yes,
it happens. What you do is put a aftershave
Sir.
or put a haldi or something.
sir,
Because you don't have time to analyze and think what is going to happen.
sir,
So you don't get time in flying. And
Yes.
especially nowadays when you're flying at such a high speed,
sir,
you have no time.
yes, sir. I believe you operated old British vampires, sir.
Yes.
And sir, what was it like? And sir, that was, I think, the first generation aircraft, sir. After
Yes,
World War,
you
sir.
can say that. I've flown first aircraft was an Indian built HT2. Then I flew the Canadian and American aircraft. Then I got into Vampires British.
Sir,
Then I got into Tufanis, which was a French.
Sir.
I've flown various types of aircraft. But I found that I had really liking for that HF-24.
Sir.
I don't know, because I found it was a better platform for the arms delivery.
Sir.
I've flown enough on that.
Yes,
It was a beautiful aircraft, but due to some
Sir.
technical problem, the aircraft has to be
Sir.
taken off the airfield.
Yes, sir. So you were posted in Eastern Command, Hashimara, I believe, during the 65. And sir, that was the time. First of all, your memories of it, and what was the feeling going around, because the Pakistani had sabers. So what was the feeling, and how did you, if you can mention, how did you prepare?
I'll tell you. See what happened. I was in Hashimara. We didn't see any attack in Hashimara.
Sir.
But the neighboring airfield, there was attack.
Sir.
When a vampire was hit and his Squadron Master was burnt alive.
Sir.
Yes, we had little worries about the so-called sabers, but
Sir.
it is not only the machine,
Man behind the machine.
man behind the machine,
Sir.
which matters.
Yes, sir.
Like we have various types of aircraft from various countries,
Sir.
but when they came to India, we learnt much more about it
Sir.
than what those builders equipment.
Yes, sir. Sir. Sir, after that phase, after the 65 war to the next 71, you had almost 4 to 5 years. And sir, you had, and the Air Force had the first engagement with the sabers. What did you guys change your strategy along the way, or you evolved, or you got more information? Because sir, I know that for a fact that the entire West was scared of MiG-25 because of its high speed. But as soon as that one Russian pilot defected to Japan, they knew the secret was out and they knew the entire thing about it. So once you got a contact with Sabre, then that entire fear or whatever you call it, sir, higher technology would have washed it away, sir.
See what happens, when you go into the fight with the enemy aircraft,
Sir.
you fight it with 3 axes. Now, sabers was good. That we used to take advantage of it by pulling up. It was vertical.
Sir.
So there were different axes.
Sir.
So we had to learn about the enemy aircraft.
Sir.
What is so good in it. Then compare it what is so good in our aircraft and take advantage of it.
Yes, sir.
And that's how in 71 war,
Sir.
they lost their starfighters.
Yes, sir. 104 strike. Sir. Sir, from vampires to sir, your favorite sir, Mystic. So, how difficult was the transition, or what were the differences between the two?
Not much for
Sir.
us. Yes, vampire was slow.
Sir.
Then Mystère became little high speed.
Sir.
MIGS became more high.
Yes, sir. But as far as the cockpit was concerned, sir, same?
It's more or less same.
Sir.
Little difference.
Sir.
More switches, more technology.
Sir. And payload capacity may be increased to a bit. Sir. How was your time during the 71 war? And as far as the air operations are concerned, sir, sir, what was that like, sir?
See what has happened in 71 war. I was an instructor.
Sir.
10 unit.
Sir.
Somewhere in September, we were told to stand by to move out.
Sir.
In October, we were given 24 hours notice to move out.
Sir.
And then one fine day, we took off from our base to Palam.
Sir.
And from there I went off to the airfield where I was to operate.
Sir, that Nal, Bikaner.
Yeah, it was my son. There are many airfields now.
Sir.
So I was moved there and the life was not so simple.
Sir.
You used to get bored.
Sir.
Every morning you go in underground,
Sir.
come out in the evening.
Sir.
It was getting on us.
Sir.
But when the war broke out, I said, either this way or that way.
Yes, sir.
That's how the life is.
Sir.
We all do the best.
Sir.
The way we are trained.
Sir.
And we just carry out the orders as given to us by the seniors.
Sir.
And all of us, when your own life is involved, you always do your best.
Yes, sir.
So, then your luck also plays.
Sir.
Whether you can spot the target or not.
Sir.
Well, I was the lucky one. Maybe you can say that on the first sortie itself I got the targets.
Sir.
Could spot those camouflage targets
Sir.
and carried out my attacks.
So you draw the first blood, sir, to the enemy. Sir.
Attacks had started in the night. I have been told later on. I came to know.
Sir.
Bombing started late in the night itself on the
Sir.
third, fourth night.
Sir.
I took off. Yes, from my unit.
Yes,
You say I was the first to take off. Yes.
Sir.
Self and late Dassault. We were the first one to get here.
Sir.
If I had met those chaps, otherwise,
Sir.
most likely would have discussed over a cigarette or over a cup of tea. But
Sir.
when you are at war,
Sir.
he's your enemy.
Yes, sir.
You have to kill him.
Sir. And that is, I think that is the most important factor of soldiering. That when in war, nothing else matters.
No.
But after that, when you are over a tea or somewhere else,
Different.
then that bond of soldier to soldier comes along,
That's
sir.
a different distance.
Sir.
But see, there's one thing I really don't know. I've got my own thinking of it. It's my own opinion.
Sir.
People say you're getting paid
Sir.
to be killed.
Sir.
And I think this was stated by some senior person also.
Sir.
I want to say no.
Sir.
We don't get paid to be killed. We get paid to kill.
Sir.
After all, the government has spent so much money on us, so much time on us to be trained.
Sir.
So we are trained to kill.
Kill.
In that, if you get killed, well, it's very unfortunate for the family
Sir.
left behind.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm dead gone.
Sir.
It makes no difference to me now.
Sir. Sir. Sir, can you take us through the operation that you took on the 5th of December 1971?
Oh,
Sir. Sir. For that you were awarded Vir
Yeah.
Chakra, sir.
early morning, or you can say late night, we are asked to carry out a search somewhere.
Sir.
And as the first light we took off,
Sir.
and they are very small things which we normally don't notice in day-to-day life.
Sir.
It does help you to spot the targets. This is what happened to me. When I entered Pakistan, I saw a few shining lines coming from the left, and then I noticed it was railway lines.
Sir.
And then I found all of a sudden that one track was missing,
Sir.
because I missed totally that it was a camouflage train over.
Yes, sir.
It was a huge train. So I called up and turned around to see what I missed. And there it was. There was a huge train.
Sir.
So went into the attack. Carried out the attacks. Unfortunately, I was shot up in the last attack. Ejected. And said, oh,
Sir.
end of the war for me.
Sir.
Whether I survive or no, I don't know.
Sir.
But it was the end for me.
Sir. Sir, and sir, I know it's very hard for us to understand what happened when you got shot down. But sir, at that moment, did fear strike you?
No, see what happens
Or you were
here?
calm and composed?
No, see, the thing moves so fast that you don't have much of time to think
Sir.
what is going to happen.
Sir.
But there, to get that you are scared of something, you don't get time.
You get to it.
You eject.
Sir.
It
And the
takes
next thing you know, you are landed.
friction of seconds, everything is over.
Sir.
Then I was received. And
Sir.
I had a reception.
Sir. Grand welcome from Pakistanis.
Yeah.
Sir. Sir.
This
Sir.
part of life one has to. If you आप
And-
घर में घुस के मारेंगे
Sir.
तो पिटने के लिए भी तैयार रहना चाहिए दिखा
Sir. Yes, sir.
तो वही मेरे साथ हुआ.
Sir, it's a game, sir.
पिटा.
Sir.
But I'm alive.
Sir. And I think, sir, only the bravest of the brave are chosen for this kind of purpose. And sir, after that, sir, you spent some time in Pakistan as a prisoner of war. And along with you, there were 12 other great men. One of them, Group Captain Parulkar. I think he was from 26 Squadron. And Wing Commander MS Grewal, 32 Squadron.
Yes, sir.
Sir, and now, sir, coming to the duration, how did you guys, did you at all communicate, or was it generally hi, hello, and
No, initially few days we didn't know how many of us were there. Only on 16th of December, I think, or 17th of December,
sir,
the cell, we call it cell,
Sir.
a small little room,
sir,
which had no window, nothing.
sir,
Light used to remain on throughout.
sir,
And there was iron bar gate,
sir,
and followed by a wooden gate. When it was opened, I was asked to come out. I could just manage to walk. With a little help of the support from the wall, I came out of the room and it was bright outside. And I saw 4 people sitting outside. I couldn't recognize. Then I noticed that one of them was Parulkar. Other 3 I had not met him.
sir,
Parulkar recognized me. And he came almost running, limping. Actually, he also had injury on the leg.
sir,
And supported me and took me. There I met another person whom I was introduced.
sir,
Was only the Jaffa.
sir,
So when I met him, I found that he had some hard thing on his back. So I asked him, I said, yes, I got a belt because his spine was damaged.
sir,
So that's the time I saw the 2 Indians.
sir,
That was Jaffa and Parulkar.
sir. And sir, what happens after? I've read some cases of a spinal injury and many kinds of injury after ejection, sir.
See, we are trained for it. Actually, before we get into the ejection seat, we have been given one drill, only one drill. That what happens when you eject.
Sure.
So, it's something like a simulator. You go through it.
Sure.
But to be in simulator is one thing.
But real life with the bullets
in
flying.
real life is a different story.
Sure.
It's a very hard decision to eject.
Sure.
And I think in that few people have died.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Because it's question of friction of second, you're late, you're over.
Sure.
So it happens.
Yes, sir.
It's a very hard decision to eject.
Sir. Sir, one more thing, sir. How did the Pakistani officers treat you, sir, during your time? And what was the psychological challenge, as to say, during that time?
Well, when you are at war, you should be prepared
Sir.
for any type of treatment.
Yes, sir.
My opinion is my
Sir.
own opinion.
Sir.
See, any international laws which have been made are in English. And I think English is a weak point of Pakistanis.
Sir.
So difficult for them to
Yes.
understand the laws.
Sir. Sir. Very interesting, sir. Sir, what was that feeling of after coming back from Pakistan and joining the squadron once again, sir? I believe you were back with 31 squadron, the Lions.
Yeah, I went back to 31 squadron after a
Sir.
year and a half.
Sir.
Because I was medically unfit.
Sir.
Then I was not allowed to fly
For some time.
fighters for.
Sir.
Then I was cleared to fly fighters. Then I joined 31 squadron.
Sir.
And I flew with them. Then I went to other squadrons.
Sir. So after that, I believe you were an instructor also.
Yeah, I've been
Sir.
instructor.
So, sir, being a cadet and then being an instructor, sir, you know all the drills and all the shamming and everything, sir. So, what was that like, sir?
No, there is quite a difference.
Sir.
As an instructor, you're supposed to know everything and you should be also prepared.
Sir.
That boy who knows nothing about flying,
Sir.
he can ask any type of question which may be totally irrelevant
Sir.
with the flying.
Yes, sir.
But one has to be
Prepared for it, sir.
It's because you are getting into a new environment.
Yes, sir.
Flying is a totally different story.
Sir.
See, when you are driving a car or a scooter, you know your feet are on the ground.
Sir.
But when you are flying, you are in 3 axis.
Yes, sir.
So that life is totally different. Flying is more or less the same for everyone, except in fighters things move faster, is more agile,
Sir.
and your thinking is totally different.
Yes, sir.
I've flown fighters most of the time. I've flown transport aircraft. I've also flown helicopter.
Sir.
But that mindset
Sir.
about the fighter
Yes, sir.
is totally different.
Sir.
It's totally different. Everybody does his job to the best of his ability.
Sir.
Whether you're in a transporter, a helicopter, or
Sir.
you may be a technician, or you may be administrator. Everything is required in flying. It is not
Yes.
only the pilots. You need technicians, administrators,
Sir.
people to give you the weather forecast.
Sir.
You know, everything is there.
It's a team game, sir.
It's a team.
Sir.
It's a team. You can't survive without the team members.
Sir. So, after seeing so much of war and bloodshed in the Indian subcontinent, interestingly, you were there during Iraq-Iran conflict as well in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, did you get the sense as to how the warfare was changing with respect to introduction of third generation better aircrafts during that time? And did you know that this is how the warfare is going to be in next 10 years or 20 years? Sir?
No, see, from our days, younger days to today, the
Sir.
war is totally different game.
So, most of your career, you have been to various roles. You have seen maintenance units as well. You were DG housing as well during the later part of your career. You have been a young dashing fighter pilot as well. Sir, as far as when you were going up the ranks in the Air Force, what sense did you make of it? Or all roles? Sir?
No, see what happens with the age,
Sir.
experience, your thinking changes.
Yes.
And as you grow and become senior,
So,
you have more responsibility. And then you realize that as youngster we used to say, why this cannot be done.
sir.
Now we realize why it could not be done.
Sir.
See, you can't get everything you want.
Yes, sir.
The Air Force does its best to provide you as much as facilities possible.
Sir.
But you have a constraint on it. You have to live with it.
Yes, sir.
See, when a young person, you enjoy your flying.
Sir.
as you grow,
Sir.
I enjoyed my administration.
Yes, sir.
And I really liked that also.
Sir.
But at younger age, if you told me to
Go
and
ahead,
look
sir.
after how the house is constructed, a building is constructed, or look after how the water is supplied,
Sir.
well, that's not my cup of tea.
Sir.
I just wanted an aircraft, jump in and fly.
Fly, sir.
So with
Sir, with time you evolve, sir.
you have to change.
Sir.
You have to change.
Sir.
But basically, you can't miss out the flight.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Because as a commander,
Sir.
you must know how to handle that aircraft on that station also, because the youngsters are watching.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So you have to know it. You can't leave flying like that.
Sir. And sir, when was your last sortie, sir?
I think I flew last was,
Before retirement, sir?
I think somewhere in 2000.
Sir. And sir?
Oh, sorry, in 2001.
Sir.
No, I flew with 2001 with my son,
Sir.
who has left the Air Force now.
Sir.
He was also pilot.
Sir.
And that was a nice to fly
Sir.
with my
Sir.
own son, and
Nice legacy and nice.
you get a nice feeling
Sir.
that you are flying the aircraft
Sir.
with your own son.
And sir, which aircraft was it, sir?
It was a HPT-32. You might have seen one is parked in front of the airport.
Sir, sir.
There's
Yes,
a
sir.
trainer
Yes,
for
sir.
basic training. That was the aircraft for basic.
So,
Now it is no more in the Air Force.
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, any message for the young fighter aspirants looking over the horizon?
Same. It's very interesting. People say, serve the nation.
Sir.
It doesn't mean that you have to be in Army, Navy, or Air Force to serve the nation. Wherever you are,
Sir.
sincere in doing your job,
Sir.
you're serving the nation.
Yes, sir.
You, little harsh word.
Sir.
See, when you are in a job, any job, yes, I feel very strongly about it. If you're not enjoying that job,
Sir.
it means you are just working there
Sir.
to get paid
Sir.
at the end of the month.
Sir.
But if you're enjoying the job and working, then you will do better job.
Sir.
And I call it you're earning your pay. There's
Yes.
a thin line between getting
Sir.
paid and earning.
Earning.
So you must do your best to earn your pay.
Sir.
And any job you are, any job, whether you're engineer or you're administrator, technicians,
Sir.
doctor,
Sir.
you are also actually serving the nation.
Sir.
Indirectly, you may say, which I feel is not quite correct. Everybody serves the nation,
Sir.
but you must do your best,
Sir.
do best of your ability, which you can.
Sir. Yes. I think, sir, that more than that, I would say, with knowledge, you also have that sense of responsibility. Ki these
Yes.
are my people, and no matter what role you put me in,
Yes.
I'll do it.
Yes.
Irrespective of how age, factor, anything, it doesn't matter, sir.
You're
for you.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'll give you my own example.
Sir.
When I was a commander at one of the places, I had two central school with me under my command.
Sir.
I had the Air Forces school with me.
Sir.
I had children's schooler. But when I was somewhere else,
Sir.
I think I had about 15 to 20 central school under
Sir.
my watch.
Sir.
Few full-fledged hospitals.
Yes, sir.
Every station has got a small hospital.
Sir.
So now I'm basically a pilot,
Sir.
but I have to look after everything.
Sir.
Whether it was
I think
accommodation,
Sir. Yes.
it was day-to-day life, environment, facilities. You have to look after.
Sir.
You have to know everything. You're
I think
a jack of all you can say.
Sir, sir. Or sir, more like a specialist than generalist, sir. Sir. So you became a specialist flying fighter jets, and then you have then you later on you became a
Yes,
generalist, sir.
yes, You have to know.
Sir.
You have to do the management with
Sir.
it.
Because your men are watching, their
Yes.
families are watching.
Yeah.
You have to lead from the
See,
front.
you have to look after the welfare of your families also.
Sir.
When the people move out,
Sir.
whether war or exercise,
Sir.
the families are left behind.
Yes, sir.
They have to be looked after also.
Sir.
They should not feel neglected.
Sir. And I think, sir, only love can make you do that kind of thing. Love for your countrymen, love for the people, love for everyone in uniform, sir. Another military aspect of air power is the balanced force concept. So you saw the development and evolution of modern radars, helicopters, transport aircrafts, state-of-the-art weapon systems like SAMs, air-to-air missile, air-to-ground missiles, electronic radars, and electronic warfare. Also, sir, does it make the life of a fighter pilot much more challenging, or with every new technology you get the counter of it?
No. With today's technology, which changes every day, I would say more or less,
Sir, right, sir.
it becomes more challenging.
Sir,
And the time factor comes in.
sir,
Today's fighter, when you're flying such a high speed,
sir.
the time gets compressed.
यस सर, आप अपनी ज़िंदगी को अभी तक का जो जर्नी रही है सर, उसको कैसे डिस्क्राइब करना चाहेंगे? आई नो सर, पीपल रिमेंबर यू अलॉट ऑफ योर टेन्योर इन पाकिस्तान सर, बट आई थिंक सर देर आर मल्टीपल फैसेट्स ऑफ यू सर, spiritual facets, how you started your career, and sir, the realization that you got after so many years of life then and now, sir, as a young boy and now, sir, how would you like to be remembered, sir?
Well, to be frank, if the people just remember me,
Sir,
a good human being,
sir,
a nice gentleman,
yes, sir,
war comes and goes,
sir,
but the human remains.
sir,
So it's better that people say there was
sir,
a good human.
yes, sir, sir,
That's the way you must face.
yes,
See,
sir.
you're a good human.
After all, we are human, sir. So,
That is the life.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Sir.